This is the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, and today's video is my way too early 53-man roster projection. So yes, stuff is going to change. Injuries happen. I'm cheating with a couple of my spots, as you'll see, but I got 53 spots here for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's begin with quarterback. After all, it is the most important spot. The numbers game was real. I went with just two this time around. Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. We will do practice squad projections as well because I'm built different and that's fun for me. So make sure you stick around because there will be a QB on that side. So when it comes to the Cowboys' active roster, how many quarterbacks will they keep? It's going to be at least two. Is it three, though? Make your predictions for me in the comment section right now. Over to running back / fullback. Nick Ralston, the fullback, did make it. He was my last player that I included on my 53-man projection. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, they are roster locks. Rico Dowdle is a bubble player. I've got him over some of the other UDFAs who you might see on the practice squad side of things. To receiver, and I'm cheating right here, although I'm actually not quite cheating. I'm being very accurate. I do not believe Michael Gallup will begin the year on the active roster in week 1. I will place him on the PUP list, costing him 6 weeks. Maybe they put him onto the IR side and then bring him back as a IR return after like 3 or 4, but he will not be counted on the active 53-man roster for week 1. So instead, I'm going to carry 6 receivers on the math side, but it's 7 on this depth chart. CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, James Washington. I think those guys are locks. Those 3 are in. Noah Brown, the special teams value matters here. He makes it. And I will keep both of Sima Fehoko and TJ Vasher, giving the Cowboys some size they don't fully have on the roster right now. A lot of UDFAs are going to fight with Fehoko and Vasher. You'll see some more on the practice squad side of it. But I went with Vasher because he's the comment section favorite overall. I want you to rank the Cowboys roster in the NFL right now. This is like a 1 to 32. Are they the best? That's 1. Worst, it's 32. It's definitely somewhere in the middle. So this question, the Cowboys roster rank here overall, where do you think it is? Rank the Cowboys roster for me. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here, take advantage of it. Head down there and rank the Cowboys roster across the entire NFL. Because I kept Nick Ralston at fullback, I will go light at tight end. Only 3 make it. Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson, and Sean McEwen. And I thought about keeping Jeremy Sprinkle. He ends up being one of my cuts, one of my more notable cuts on the offensive side of the football there. The Cowboys saved just under $900,000, so not a lot when you factor in the actual replacement cost of having a player as your 53rd guy. Sprinkle is back with the Cowboys for now. Could maybe be a veteran piece on your practice squad, but I went with the younger piece in Sean McEwen instead. There will be some tough calls to make for the Dallas Cowboys. That's how life operates, especially in the NFL. So I want you to name a notable player who you think ends up getting cut in the comments right now. The offensive line. You have roster locks here in Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, and I think some safe players. I think actually Tyler Biadasz is a lock too. I think Matt Farniok is mostly safe. I could see Connor McGovern being a surprise cut, but I kept both of those players as my backup guard / center. Farniok more with center, McGovern at guard. I think Josh Ball and Matt Waletzko make this roster unless the Cowboys surprise and add a veteran swing, which could very well happen. I did not project any additions on that side of it here. As for McGovern, surprise cut, I wanted to find a spot for Alec Lindstrom, the center from Boston College. He was the first, the last offensive player I had to cut. You might not know this, but YouTube has added super thanks to its platform. If you don't know what that is, allow me to explain. If you're watching live, you're able to super chat, right? That option has never existed outside of live before this. The Super Thanks ability is a way for you to donate outside of live videos. See that icon over there in the third row, that little heart with the money sign in the middle of it? That is the Super Thanks icon. You can click it, edit your message, edit your donation, and ask a question. Say thank you. We appreciate your support here. So I have to keep a close eye on it because it doesn't track that great quite yet on YouTube. But if you super thanks, we will give you a shout out on a future show. If there's a question as part of your super thanks, we'll put it in a mailbag. We appreciate your support here at the Cowboys Report. So if you do a super thanks, you guys are awesome. You are the MVPs of this channel. That's how you do it. And if you want shout outs on future shows, that's a guaranteed way to make it happen. Let's go to defense now. Defensive end. I'll go 5 deep here. I've got DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, D. Williams, and Chauncey Golston as roster locks. I think that Dante Fowler and Terrell Basham are going to compete for that 5th defensive end spot. I'm going to give the edge to Fowler. So Basham ends up getting cut. 3.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. I think Dante Fowler can at least match that production. The cap savings, if cut, is $1.75 million. That's a decent amount of money to save for your 5th defensive end. When the Cowboys actually make roster cuts, we let you guys know. We will do more roster projections and camp coverage, etc., as the offseason moves along. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. Defensive tackle now here, as I kind of messed up a couple of these, so bear with me on that one there. Neville Gallimore, Osa Odigizua, Quinton Bohanna, and John Ridgeway are going to make the roster. Let me just repeat the 5 here. The 5 on the defensive line, Neville Gallimore, Osa Odigizua, Carlos Watkins, John Ridgeway, and Quinton Bohanna. That means Tristan Hill ends up getting cuts. He didn't do much last year, and you can save $1.16 million by cutting your 6th best defensive lineman. Yes, I am embracing the fatties only mindset on this one by keeping both Bohanna and Ridgeway on my roster. So I'm going to go with Hill as the cut. And you try to trade him, of course, too. I honestly don't know who would trade for Tristan Hill right now. Of the 2 options you face with the Cowboys' former 2nd-round pick, type D for dump or type in K for keep. What would you do with Tristan Hill? Make your prediction for me in the comments section right now. Let's go to linebacker, where I'm getting creative again to make my numbers work and keep more than just 53 players. Micah Parsons, LVE, Jabril Cox, I think are locks. That leaves a very open race for a bunch of other players, including Aaron Hansford, who I've got making it, Luke Gifford, rookie Devin Harper as well. I have just missing out. I have Hansford over Harper. Shocker, I know. And then Damone Clark, who I am going to put on the NFI list. I know that Stephen Jones thinks Clark can make this can play week 1. I don't see a chance. Frankly, I don't think he plays this year. Medical redshirt year. Bring him in the fold in 2023. It's still a good pick from that standpoint there. So I'll have Hansford over both Story Jackson and Devin Harper on this roster. But make sure you watch till the end for the practice squad projections on that standpoint. Cornerback, and this is where I cheated more than any other spot because the number, I didn't want to cut some other UDFAs. I wanted to squeeze guys in here in the end and be creative on that standpoint. So I am going to have Kelvin Joseph listed as a suspended player. I know that's a bit of a surprise move, and then there is a very real chance, make no mistake about it, that there is no suspension for Kelvin Joseph, but I wanted to get as many guys as possible on this roster. So the locks here are Trayvon Diggs. I think Joseph is safe, by the way. I don't really foresee Anthony Brown not making his way to the roster. Jordan Lewis not making it either. Deshaun Wright, I think, is safe. And I do, by the way, want to ensure that C.J. Goodwin makes this team. And I don't think Deron Bland is quite a roster lock. I do think he's close because the Cowboys love to make sure that their draft picks make this roster. I think he is a great fit for the Dan Quinn scheme, but I didn't want to necessarily lock him into my active roster. But because I kept Kelvin Joseph as the suspended list, a.k.a. not counting on the 53-man roster, it did make my life just a little bit easier from that standpoint. So Diggs, Brown, Lewis, Wright, Goodwin, and Bland are the active guys. And then Kelvin Joseph is my cheater side by putting him on the suspended list from that standpoint. So I got a little bit creative to make the roster numbers work out there. Safety, I'll go 5 deep here as well. Jaron Kearse, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, they're making this team. I think Israel Mukuamu makes it as well. And I'll get another UDFA on here, Marquise Bell, who I like a lot as a UDFA pickup. In the end, I wanted to keep Bell, and that's why I put Kelvin Joseph on my suspended list. Then there's special teams. Brian Anger's making it. Jake McQuaid's making it. And I will go with another undrafted free agent, Jonathan Garibay, the kicker out of Texas Tech. I will have over Chris Nagar as my kicker here. That could change if the Cowboys add somebody else, if those guys struggle in preseason. But I thought that UDFA was pretty good for Tech last season. Coming up next are my practice squad projections and the rule explainer here. First, I want you guys to name a player who you want on the practice squad. Let me know in the comment section who you want to stash on the practice squad this year. First, the rules. The original plan for the NFL was 14 players in 2022. Now, last year, the NFL had 16 due to COVID-19. That is not going to be a factor this year, I don't believe, with the way the NFL rules are set up. So it could be 14, could be 16, but for the Cowboys, it would be 15 or 17 because Isaac Alarcon is still exempt. So let's do the bigger version and go with 17 because that's more fun. Here's my practice squad. Will Grier at quarterback. Ryan Nall and Jaquan Hardy make it at running back. Aaron Shamklin was the last of my cuts there. I apologize to the Aaron Shamklin fans there. Peyton Hendershot I will include at tight end as well. I went with Will Grier over Ben DiNucci. Do you agree or disagree? Pick a QB. Will Grier, who is kind of the Doug Nussmeier's guy, type in WG, or you want McCarthy's guy in DiNucci, the Nooch, type in BD in the comments right now. I did go heavy, by the way, at the wide receiver spot. Brandon Smith, Ty Freifogel, and Dontario Drummond. 3 of the guys who I think are going to compete for one of those last roster spots. I sneak all them on. I got Alec Lindstrom on there as well. Isaac Alarcon is your freebie on the offensive line. He's played a lot of guard there as of late, but was a tackle initially, so he's your free player, and Lindstrom I like as a UDFA a lot. Defensive time here. Mika Tafua and Big Cat Bryant both make it as edge depth. Tough path to make the active roster here. Defensive lineman Austin Faluyu. I mispronounced that. I'm sorry. I don't get my name in front of me, so that's my bad there, Austin. But he makes it on defensive line. There's Devin Harper, the 6th-round pick from Oklahoma State. And, for those of you wondering, Story Jackson makes it as well, the linebacker for Liberty. Isaac Taylor Stewart at corner. I think that's, given the options there, makes a lot of sense. Tyler Coyle at safety as well as Wanye Thomas. Both of those guys make it at the safety spot on my way too early roster projections for the 53-man roster and the practice squad as well.